Did you guys know? We got a new Gen 9 out. That's right. And on today's episode of Redcat Live, we will go over that. In fact, we will highlight today's episode, wrapping it all around the newest and latest Redcat family member in the lineup, the one and only the Gen 9. Listen, you guys have been bugging us nonstop. You guys have been saying, demanding that there be something new from Redcat. And more so, demanding that it not be a lowrider. Well, I'm happy to say today's the day that we get to talk about the brand new Gen 9. So, before we get into it, let's check this out. Let me know what you guys think. Well, what'd you guys think? The new Gen 9 is out. It's official. And there seems to be some confusion as to where this bad boy is at. Obviously, if you're a Redcat fan or not, but you're looking to purchase one, you probably went to our website and noticed that we have a Notify Me link up instead of Buy It Now. Just so you guys know, at this time, we've actually started selling them to all of the Redcat dealers. So what I strongly recommend is to check in with your local dealer, your local hobby shop, and see if they are a Redcat dealer, then they would more than likely already have them, or they should be getting them here within the next 1 or 2 business days. On our website here at redcatracing.com, we will have them available as early as January 23rd, and we'll start shipping them out immediately. So, don't worry, they're coming into your hands. There are already people that are getting them, and they're already purchasing them, so they are available. And it's an exciting new era. It's a great time. It's a great time to be in the hobby. It's a great time to be in the scene. As mentioned, last year, we really wanted to push the narrative to let you guys know that we're going to have 10 new products coming out this year. And it's very big to us to do so, right? We started with so many things that ventured from last year and even the year before, and they're now coming to fruition. So was it a plan to drop 10 vehicles this year? Was that the goal this year? Probably not. But the fact that it's happening this way, I'm with it. So if you are a fan of Redcat or not, be sure that there's going to be a lot of great stuff that might fit your pocketbook, fit your needs, and maybe just fit a want that is ridiculous and you just have to have it. One of those moments where you're like, just take my card. Now, take it. So, guys, it's exciting. I'm really excited because we're going to perform an unboxing today. We're going to also bring in the engineers, the 2 lead engineers that actually worked and piloted this product so that we can get a real in-depth feel and understanding of the Gen 9, as well as potentially answer some of your guys' questions that might have come up. A lot of folks think that it's just a slightly redesigned Gen 8, and it couldn't be further from the truth. With the amount of changes put into this product, we're really proud to bring it out to you guys and tell you guys we try to listen to every single one of your wants and needs and things that could be bettered for it in the progression of what a Gen 9 should be. So before we get any further, before we perform this unboxing and get into it, I do want to take a quick moment and talk about something that I really have been dreading to do so since last week. Last week, when leaving here, I ended up leaving and ended up talking to a really great lifetime friend and brother of mine, Brandon Tomy. For all of you guys that are aware of what ASD Crawlers is, we're an organization that supports raising funds for autism awareness. If you follow the channel, you should be no stranger to the name Brandon Tomy, ASD Crawlers, as well as myself. Me and him co-founded this operation in a drive to bring awareness of autism all around the world and make it in a way that we can bring it to the RC community to support those that are affected, parents and children thereof. It is with great pain and great sorrow that I have to explain that he is no longer with us. Last Wednesday, unfortunately, he was called upon to a greater motion moving forward and is no longer with us on this earth. And we want to just take a quick moment to appreciate the things that he did for the community, the crawler community in general in Northern California. He leaves behind a beautiful wife that was his rock and biggest support system, a couple fur babies as well, and a lot of nephews, my children included. It's a hard hit, and we're all doing our best to stay strong for the family. And for any of you guys that feel inclined, there is a GoFundMe link on the description of this video, as we're all trying to navigate and do the best that we can for him and his family. So my prayers go out to the Tomy family, the entire ASD squad. He's going to be very much missed. All right, so I appreciate you guys stopping on by, and I appreciate you guys being a part of this community and helping it grow. It's been amazing to see the ventures over the last year and a half, and the immense growth that we've put into this. And I'm excited. I'm excited for what the future's going to hold. I'm excited for what we have lined up for you guys. You guys have been amazing in supporting what we're doing. If you've been into the lowrider scene or the crawler scene, this has kind of been a big drop for you guys. And we appreciate all of that moving on forward. So let's kick this bad boy off with performing an unboxing of the much anticipated Gen 9. All right, so the Gen 9. For a lot of you guys that are eager to head down to the hobby shop and pick one up for yourself, there's going to be a lot of awesome changes and upgrades to this product. If you were a fan of the Gen 8, you're going to be an even bigger fan of the Gen 9. I guarantee it. I don't know if I can guarantee it because he might just be one of those people that just, doesn't like tacos. Like not everyone's going to like tacos. If you love tacos, you'll love the Gen 9. Hey. But on the real, guys, this has been an awesome long time coming product. I've been super excited about it. You know me, I'm an RC geek at heart, and the crawler scene is definitely up my street and up my alley. It's something I love doing. I love building custom crawlers, especially as scale as can be. And the Gen 9 is a great potential platform for a lot of folks that want to do more in the future and or enjoy it as an RTR. So the Gen 9, as you guys know, will come with a lot of features, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But primarily, let's perform this unboxing before we bring in the engineers so that we can kind of get it, in essence, straight from the horse's mouth, right? All right, guys. So you guys will go down to your hobby shop, or order it from us on the 23rd, and you guys will have a box arriving. More than likely, if you buy it from the hobby shop, it'll be looking like this. If you probably buy it from us, it may be covered in a cardboard box, right? Because we don't want porch fires taking away your beautiful new Gen 9. So we'll open this bad boy up. And before we dissect into what's in the box, kind of want to make sure you guys see some of the graphics that we have on the box itself. We really wanted to make sure that we kept it urbanesque with the feel that we've been doing with the previous builds and products that we've been releasing, right? The vehicle will be available in a metallic blue and a kind of a metallic gray, if I may, or titanium. It's kind of it's a beautiful color, but the color, I think, what did we call it? We called it the graphite color. There's always the specifics, the logistics, But some of the biggest changes that you guys are going to see with the Gen 9 is going to be things like the 2-speed transmission, which now has a shift servo that kind of bumps you up from somewhere between 5 and 6, 7 miles an hour, depending on the battery cell count that you're using. And it can get you anywhere between 11, 12, 13, 14, and even 15 in some cases, going downhill with maybe some more action figures and a couple extra brass weights. Just saying, it can do it. But we've seen a lot of folks release it. We've been able to get them into a lot of people's hands, and we didn't want an unhonest review of them. We wanted an honest review, letting them do what they needed to do with it. And like any product that you take and you rigorously test and beat up, sometimes some things happen, and we're no slouch to that. We understand that plastic can become brittle in certain temperatures and what have you, but it was fun to see. It was awesome to see everyone enjoying it. Every single influencer that was a part of this drop really did it justice. We wanted them to drive it. We wanted them to take it to its max potential, and it's been fun to watch everyone's reactions and what they've done with it, right? So, this bad boy is going to come with a couple features, like a really awesome new high torque servo that we have, which will give you a maximum potential of 42 kgs at 8.4 volts. Taking into consideration the factory ESC is probably only going to give you 6 volts. So if you are like myself and like 80 to 90% of the community, which ends up putting in an aftermarket motor and ESC, my opinion is brushless. I love a sensor brushless system. That may not be something incapable for you to tap into to be able to supply 8.4 volts. Even at 7.4 volts, you're still going to get quite a bit of oomph on this servo. And we are proud to offer a vehicle with a servo that should handle a lot of the everyday use, which makes it great that it's not going to be that standard practice of buy the vehicle and replace a servo because it probably arrived dead on arrival, DOA. So keep that in mind, guys. We got a lot of things else that changed. More turning radius. We included the same tire design that we had on the Marksman with the M16 Interco licensed tires, but in a different compound specifically made for the Gen 9 and a smaller diameter with 1.9s. A dashboard, a drop interior with some extra goodies like door handles, window cranks, outdoor mirrors, and we even included some extras because things happen on the trail, right? So there's the box itself. Let's get into it. Let's see what's inside the box, right? So we got a set of goodies, right? We got your owner's manual as always. We got some stickers, and some of the cool stuff that I found about the stickers that I liked automatically is there is a sticker for every state in the U.S. So depending on where you're at, or if you're the kind of person that travels when you crawl or RC, you can actually add your stickers as you go. It's just a nice, cool little feature. I thought it was super cool, and I love it. And a lot of you guys are already asking, what's the price point? This bad boy is going to be coming in at $3.99 at your local hobby store here in the U.S. as well as our website. Now remember, when you order from our website as of the 23rd on, anything that you purchase that's over $50 ships at no cost to you within the continental U.S. So keep that in mind as well. Owner's manual's in there with a couple extra stickers for you to use, including some speaker stickers for the door panels, as well as mentioned, some extra parts that can kind of break as you regularly use it. Nothing abnormal there. Sticker pack is always good to have, right? You're gonna have your remote. The remote itself is a kind of a still an entry-level remote when it comes to an RTR, but Ironically enough, this comes with, I believe, a 4-channel option, as well as a 3-channel button that controls your the shift servo itself. Really good in the hand. I can actually drive with one hand on it, or one-hand driving, which I personally like to do, especially because I like filming quite a bit. We also included a card that kind of explains how the 2-speed transmission works. We have a video that's out there because a lot of guys are going to get this and go, man, I run Futaba. I run, Spectrum. I run, Sanwa. So we want to make sure that you guys had some information to allow you how the knowledge to properly set the, parameters as to making sure that you're not overstressing the shifting mechanism, right? All right, what else do we have in the box? None other than the truck itself. It will come with a, I believe, 1040 ESC? 1040 ESC. And it is a brushed motor, right? So in essence, like a lot of vehicles that are RTR on the market, a brush setup seems to be always the entry point for a lot of these vehicles. When you guys will get this, you will have a zip tie on front and rear tires, keeping it to the cardboard. For movie purposes, we went ahead and opened this box to cut it open so that you don't see me cutting my digits, because I sometimes have accidents. They kind of look like it's a hot dog. All right, so open this bad boy up. Get the cardboard out of the way. Make sure you guys recycle your cardboard, guys, out there. And there is the front of the Scout, right? A lot of similarly looking designs when it comes to the housing of the axle itself, by appearance only. When we'll get into more specs and details on some of those changes that actually do exist. There's your interior with your front seats and your back seats, steering wheel, shifter, even your transfer case lever as well. There is also a way for you to be able to separate the panel and the dash to add some lights if you wanted to kind of make it stand out a little bit more and lighten it up. So again, lots of great features on this vehicle, and it's literally that simple to take out of the box. Throw a battery in it. It does come with a T-plug design on the battery. So if you already own, like the majority of people that own batteries, if you haven't swapped the new XT60s that everyone is using and are still using Deans like myself, I'm a little old school, so I'm comfortable with them. I also don't feel like changing XT60s on 30 batteries and 15 or 16 RC cars that I use regularly, let alone the ones I keep that my wife doesn't know about. So, guys, this is Gen 9. It sits on a Scout 800A body. It's definitely different. For a lot of folks, they're like, it looks like a shoebox. It looks square. Man, if you don't know, you better ask somebody, because the Scout looks just like this. And we'll get into those details here as well. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring in the engineers so we can start picking their brains. And I know a lot of you guys have been asking questions and going back and forth. I do apologize. I wanted to get to this point so that then we can get these guys in here and start giving you guys the nitty-gritty on the actual Gen 9 and the specs and why things were designed the way they are and why we chose to go the route that we did with these things. So without further ado, guys, please do me a huge favor by welcoming Mr. Matt Jackson and Shane McCullough to the show. Come on over, guys. Don't applaud all at once, guys, please. Please hold. No autographs, okay? Guys, man.
What's up, man? Thanks for having us on.
Thank you guys for taking a break from all the awesome stuff that you guys are working on right now.
Well, sometimes you got to.
Right? See, Chris DeGraff is applauding virtually, so hey.
Thank you, sir. That works.
For those of you guys that don't know, Mr. Matt Jackson here was a lot of the driving force engineering-wise with the 64. So if you were like me that loved lowriders growing up and always imagined being able to somehow tie those two things together, he in essence was the missing link that was able to help create a lot of the potential possibilities that at some point was turned into the 64 LRH 285 chassis that you so humbly brought us, as well as the Monte Carlo chassis, and as well as the stuff that you guys don't know yet.
Oh, jeez.
So I can't leak out too much at once, guys. I have a job to keep at the end of the day. But nonetheless, man, the Gen 9, you guys had a lot of wants and a lot of needs when it came to, this platform. And you guys kept the community waiting quite a bit of time for this. So first and foremost, man, what was the, inspiration for the Gen 9, and what was the main thing that you just had to make sure was in it out of the gate?
Well, I mean, we see all the things that are going on in the community. Like, we spend a lot of time watching what's going on, and obviously there was a lot of love out there for the Gen 8, so we knew it had to be a follow-up to that. That's why it's Gen 9 and not something else. There was actually quite a bit of discussion as to whether we were going to continue that line or call it something entirely different. But there is a lot of that strong lineage from the Gen 8 in terms of the design philosophy and like the way that a lot of things look similar. Obviously, we love the relationship that we've had with International, so keeping the Scout theme was just kind of a bit of a no-brainer, especially as when we did the Gen 8, actually, a lot of people were on the fence as to whether we should do the Scout 800 or the Scout 2. And the Scout 2 won out because the guy who was in charge of that particular aspect of the program just preferred the looks of the body and kind of won us over. But, there are a lot of fans out there also of the 800. And there's a lot of important history behind the 800. This was like one of the very first SUVs in the United States.
Right.
This was International's response to Land Rover coming out with their SUV that was based on all the Jeeps that got left in England after World War II. So like this is a very historically important vehicle, and the looks have really grown on me. Mm-hmm. But also there's a lot of improvements here just for crawlability in terms of shorter wheelbase, better approach angle, departure angle, and actually your breakover angle too because of the shorter wheelbase. So there's a lot of reasons to go with this particular body.
So I'll be honest with you, like I'm a big Chevy fan. So I'm like anti-Ford, but I've always enjoyed the Bronco too, like the look of it, the squareness of it, and the smallness of it. Especially when you see them on trails, they look really cool bouncing around. But I hate Ford. No offense to anyone, I just don't like Ford. I'm a Chevy guy, So I actually prefer the Scout body over a Bronco body for a few reasons. I love the roundedness of the front hood. I love the square shape of it. I love that it's, in essence, a open top. But they also offered it in a hard top, right, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah. Right. In
Right.
fact, most of them, I think that was really the only option from the factory was you had a hard top, but it was removable. So you'd see a lot of cars back then rolling with a roll cage. Now, the roll cage on the real ones that came with it basically was non-existent. And there were aftermarket cages that were basically just a middle hoop, and some of them would continue to a windshield hoop. Just in order for us to feel secure in protecting the body as best we could, we decided to put the full cage on it because it really adds a lot of strength too.
Well, we really are touching base on the aesthetics outside. Run us through some of the features that you guys worked on the exterior on this vehicle in that sense, and maybe the mounting of the body, because that's a big thing too.
Well, I mean, anybody who has a Gen 8 probably hates me for
the Velcro?
For the Velcro, right. Sorry, that was my idea. I'll own up to it. It was a bad one. So what we've done here is we've kind of taken a lot of the things that people liked about the Gen 7 with the pivoting body system and improved upon it. So there's no body clips anywhere. We have two little clips that you just rotate forward. They turn 90 degrees to lock into the inner fenders. And then you can just rotate it back and pull it up. So there's a U-shape on the body mount here that just latches into these rods, I guess you'd call them, that are the pivot points right in front of the rear bumper. And it just makes it really easy to just take it off and put it back on, and yet that holds it securely when you just flip these little levers forward. And they are on M3 screws, are holding these little quarter turn fasteners on there, so you can tighten those or loosen those to your preference. I know Josh had an issue on Harley Designs with one of his was actually a little too loose, and was loose enough that it managed to get over the detents on the inside of the inner fender and go forward, and the body came off when he rolled over. So really, if you run into something like that, all you got to do is take I believe an M3 driver, and just tighten that bolt up a little bit, and
Give it
it'll
a
be
good
fine.
quarter, half turn. And
Yeah, if you get it too tight, you just turn it backwards a little bit.
Yeah.
You want it as tight as you can get it, that you're still comfortable with moving it, actually.
Right. So, that's awesome. I love the
Yeah.
body. A lot of folks in the threads are saying that it looks a little bit off. Can you elaborate how we came to this size?
Sure. This is, as everybody here knows, that's one of my very favorite subjects, because I'm kind of a scale nerd, and I get a little crazy about this sort of stuff because I want it to be as accurate as it can be. We decided we wanted to do the Scout 800, and we looked at the wheelbase we were going to go after because we wanted it to be a 10th scale. 10th scale is a classification, so we want the wheelbase to match the other 10th scale class bodies out there that would fit on many other platforms. So you take basically the two-dimensional drawings or photos you have of the model that you want to replicate, and you size them, like you scale them geometrically so that they're still proportionally correct to that wheelbase, and then you adapt as necessary. And when we did that for the Scout 800, the wheelbase length lined up so that the aspect ratio was just about perfect.
Wow.
There is no change of the width of this body from the original. We didn't have to change it at all in order to have it just tuck the tires and fit perfectly. So we just got pretty dang lucky there, I think.
And there's something I have to add to that I don't think a lot of people understand, and it took me a hard time to grasp. And I've been in the crawler scene specifically for a little bit over 12 and a half years, almost 13 years here in March. And we would buy new brights and all kinds of different bodies to make them work.
That's why doesn't it fit?
Right. And they don't really, you always made things fit. But think about it like this, guys. If every vehicle out on the road was exactly a 12.3 wheelbase,
It'd be pretty boring.
it'd be pretty boring. Exactly. So in the RC industry, in the crawler scene, that has been the norm. So a lot of bodies have been made to fit within this footprint of a 12.3 wheelbase, or the smaller version, which would be the 11.2 or 11, the short wheel.
11.7 short wheelbase.
Yeah, 11.7, 11.8. So, if you're 12.3 wheelbase, let's say that 12.3 wheelbase was a standard for everyone. Yeah, a Chevy body's going to look different. A Silverado body's going to look different on it compared to a Bronco body, or a Scout body compared to a Suburban body, right? Everything has to be shrunken and stretched out. And I really enjoy the fact that, based off the numbers, you didn't have to skew.
Right. We got pretty lucky with that. I don't know how deep we want to go with this, but yeah, every car is different, like you said. So, for example, if you were to take like a full-size pickup truck and you stretch this wheelbase out as far as it can go, which is an additional 12 millimeters, you would probably be, depending on the truck and depending on the configuration, you'd probably be in the 12th to 14th scale if you put it on
Interesting.
a 10th scale class chassis.
Right.
This being that the Scout 800 is a smaller vehicle, the true scale of this vehicle is about 1 to 8.13, something like that. So it's closer to an 8 scale body, but it's still a 10 scale class car if you're looking at like all the Sorka rules and stuff like that.
Right. Dude, I love it, man. I love the aesthetics outside. You guys did a great job with your approach angles. I know the tires are sticky. I know you guys, we kept the same realm with going with aluminum oil-filled shocks. That's kind of been the norm with our crawlers, right? With our, flagship crawlers. There was a lot of work that was put in to the drivetrain. Which one of you knuckleheads hit us with that?
That would be Mr. Shane McCullough. Shane took over all of the mechanics of this vehicle. I basically worked on the body, and he handled the suspension tweaks and drivetrain stuff.
I love it. So Shane, I guess to you, what was the most important thing to bring to the community when it came to the drivetrain?
So we see a lot of comments on Facebook about like the Gen 8's axle sway. When it was designed initially, it was designed very close to a real off-road vehicle, where that's not an extreme issue. But on RC, it's what's the term? It's exaggerated. So an inch in real life is actually like 2 millimeters here. So we were able to lengthen the panhard, change a couple mounts, and we got rid of the bump steer. And then we ended up deciding just to redo the whole axle to increase the steering quite a bit.
Now, I know that one of the biggest issues, as you mentioned, was with the original setup, the bump steer, right? You go in, you push down on the front of the truck, and the whole truck would kind of do one of these. The whole front end would move at an angle. But when you guys redesigned the axle for that purpose, what was the I guess, you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to try to explain the concentricity of the circles and how that's important?
So,
we probably don't need to get into the kinematics of it.
Well, with a panhard bar, basically the longer it is, the more range you have on the end. So if this is like radius of a circle and you go down that circle, that's how much your axle is going to sway. So really short panhard is going to rotate the axle far really quick versus having a long panhard, then you have more room before you actually notice it shift. Right. So any 3-link panhard is going to move a little bit. Making it longer like we did on here, it's going to be way less noticeable.
Nice. Good.
So to get a little nerdy about it, there's two factors at play here. There's axle sway and there's bump steer, right?
Right.
And you get bump steer when you have a difference in the lengths and the circles that the panhard bar and the steering link from the chassis mounted servo are turning.
Okay.
You get axle sway when the circle that the panhard bar is moving isn't tuned well for the height of the particular suspension.
Okay.
So with this, we had it set up now out of the box so that for the range of travel you have with these shocks, it gets a very minuscule amount of axle sway because it's right on the edge of that circle.
Nice. So I love that. So guys, I know it's a lot of information when you look at those things, and for a lot of you guys, you're like, I don't care, I just want to crawl it, right? But I like it because someone at some point is going to search something based on that information on YouTube. It's kind of great that now exists.
Oh, shit. Yeah, at one point they'll probably have it searchable by verbal comments.
Right, you never know. All right, Shane. So the biggest change for you, in essence, was the front axle, and
yes.
One of the biggest issues that we had wasn't just a bump steer, but it was the lack of steering radius, right, or angle. So what's new on the axles that I guess makes them better now compared to before?
So the biggest thing is we have universals now. So instead of a CVA which binds at like 44-ish degrees, these can go up to 47 kind of without bind. Depending on how fast you're going, it'll kind of exaggerate this like binding. But I believe this one's at, depending on how you're measuring it.
Sure. High 40s.
Yeah.
In a way.
Very high 40s.
Right. And obviously the universals help, unlike the CVAs, which would reach a certain point and that's it. I'm assuming the universals gave you a little bit more angle potential in comparison, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which we've seen for years in the RC world, and we've seen people try to redesign or reinvent the wheel and with CVAs, and CVAs had a place for a short time, but I think you just can't beat the reliability of the universals, especially when you are the kind of person like myself, and if I have a 2-speed transmission and I get one on the side, dude, I'm gonna turn in and just and what's the first thing that's gonna happen? Snap, right? So I love it. I love the fact that you guys have now way more steering than it had before. I think before it might have been like right there. So definitely gives you a lot more steering, and it's something that in the crawler world is needed. Now, in the real one-to-one world, I can't assume anyone would need that much of a steering angle.
Unless you could be like a drifter.
Oh, yeah. Wait, hey, I might have to drift the International Scout and get sideways with it, But, that's in essence, a lot of what went into the front end, So are the housings the same size as a Gen 8?
They're slightly different. So the center pumpkin's the same size. The rest of the axle's a little beefier. We had to cut out some because of the universal, but
so people can't just buy our axles and then take their internals out of their Gen 8 and put them in. Okay, they would have to buy and assemble a whole Gen 9 axle.
So you'd have to get the axle. The spool's the same, but the actual universals themselves, the knuckles, the main centerpiece.
And the inside of the portal box is different too.
Right. The knuckle portion, depending on what you want to call it, and then both of the pan hard mounts.
Right.
So you need the pan hard mount on the axle and the pan hard mount on the chassis.
Right, so there you go. A lot of you guys are like, those are the exact same axles. Guess what? They're not.
And you would need the pan hard bar itself and the new upper.
Yeah, and the steering links.
Do you know if this thing has any overdrive in it?
It does not.
It does not. Okay. But
Trio.
Trio does offer some, guys, and we'll get into that here before we leave. So hang out with us. We'll talk a little bit about that as well in the coming minutes. All right, so that's the front axle. Any changes to the rear axle?
The rear axle's been beefed up. On certain drops with the last axle we did, the upper mount being in single shear would tend to snap. So now it's in double shear, which we haven't managed to break it
I'm having a hard
after
time
6
pointing it
months.
out on the camera.
Right.
It's down there.
So it's a lot stronger.
Right. Awesome. So same question about the replacement of the internals and axle to Gen 8 and Gen 9, because people want to know these things.
The rear axle is not a single piece, so you could just buy the centerpiece for the Gen 9 and swap it over to your Gen 8.
Okay, good to know. Good to
And
know.
all the spools are the same for whoever has that.
If at some point we offer these axles by themselves, and or let's say someone is able to get somewhere down the line a good deal on a Gen 9, could they take the Gen 9 axle and put it on a Gen 8? Is that doable?
Yeah, you'd have to swap out quite a few parts,
Okay.
but it's possible.
I mean, if enough people ask for it, we would seriously consider making a kit for it.
Good to know.
But like, we could also pretty easily publish a list of the Gen 9 parts you would need to buy off the website in order to make the swap.
Perfect. Shocks. Any changes to the shocks?
The shocks are the same. The mounting location is different since we shortened the wheelbase. They're another point in on the shock towers, but the shocks are the same.
I think are the same spring rate? I don't
Yes.
recall. They are? Okay.
Length as well?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, there's, more changes and some other things that there are some similarities, right? But so far, we've already touched base on quite a bit of changes compared to its predecessor, the Gen 8. Now let's talk about the biggest elephant in the room, the biggest change, the one thing that you said had to be done. I said, I want dig, but you said, no, we need this.
2-speed.
Right?
Yeah.
I want to go fast.
I want to go fast. So tell me a little bit about this 2-speed. What was your thought behind it, and how hard was this to make work?
So initially, when we prototyped all the axle changes, it kind of wasn't enough. It was like, we should do something else. What have people on the community been asking on like Facebook or YouTube? And a lot of people wanted a 2-speed, kind of like 80% more than any other option. So basically, we ripped apart a Gen 8, figured out how to slap a 2-speed in there, and then modified the rest of the parts to fit.
Now, I have to tell you guys, so we accidentally leaked this thing like 4 different times within the last month,
Yeah.
and almost
My
nobody
bad.
caught it.
Yeah,
right?
that was probably my fault.
Including the prototype got sold on eBay.
Actually,
somehow.
I believe 2 of them got sold. So, like Oscar was saying earlier, we have a bunch of new vehicles coming in this year, like 10 of them, and the engineering office is quite full of samples. Like anybody who's an RC fan, like this, it's like working in Wonka's chocolate factory. But we've got just so much stuff that at some point things have to be just like, all right, we don't need this anymore. Let's get rid of it. Let's try to phase some stuff out, get some more room for new stuff to come in. And so we take a bunch of the stuff and we just kind of hand it off to one guy who puts a lot of the stuff up on eBay. And it got sold on eBay.
Yeah. So
Oops.
So 2 of them got sold on eBay.
They didn't have the axles. It was just the 2-speed.
It was just the 2-speed. It was a 2-speed test mule.
Right.
Or
I
two of them, rather.
accidentally leaked a video on YouTube that went live that wasn't supposed to go live.
That one's on you though.
That was on me. We've all had our own versions of oops moments, and still it remained under wraps, and that was kind of the cool part about it, man. Shane, this Hexfly new torque spec servo that we have in here, I know you know a little bit more about the specs. Can you elaborate to the folks why this servo and why it's different than the hex flies we've used in the past.
Yeah, so usually when you buy a ready to run, the servo is okay for the first week or two, and then you want something that'll move the rock instead of moving you over the rock. So with this one, the old hex fly was rated to 6 amps or 6 volts, which the hex fly ESC puts out. That'll give you 25 kilograms. But if you overamp it to like 7.4, then the servo tends to blow up because it's not rated for that. We went to our servo manufacturer and said, hey, look, we want it to be 42 kilograms. How? So they were able to make us one that's rated for 8.4 volts, which some of the new Hobbywing, I think it's 1080G2 ESCs can support. There's also some other ones on the market. And then you'll have a servo, which once you replace the ESC, you're at 42 kilograms.
So, you know, at 42 kilograms, if I'm not mistaken, you and I did the math, and it was well over the 500 mark, if I'm not mistaken, right?
For ounce inches,
Yeah,
I believe it's right around.
Because I know there's a lot of you know, like myself, I'm like, how many ounce inches does it got?
You want those freedom units?
I want those freedom units, you know. What the freedom units on that servo, yo?
Yeah.
You know, so, because I told him, I was like, listen, everyone that I know is like, you know, I run 500 ounce of torque. I got a servo that's 422, you know, all these variations thereof. So, you know, I was like, well, what does that equivalent? So we literally sat here, and of course, instead of just like doing a simple form, we were like, well, let's see. Carry the 2, and then E equals MC square, and then Oscar's taco minus the time it took him to eat it. It gave us like 530-ish, you know, ounces of torque.
We do love whiteboards. It's
Right.
true.
Yes. But, you know, it's... So, Teddy wants to know what's significant about 42 kg. So,
It's a good number.
right, it's a great number.
It's the answer to everything. It's 42.
You know, Teddy, one of the things is, Teddy, you know, I know that a lot of the stuff that you do comes more from the lowrider scene, and you don't really need a lot of torque, you know, when you're lifting and lowering a car unless it's super heavy. In the crawler scene specifically, the best of the best always run really high torque servos so that you can really wedge yourself in rocks, and literally the servo itself you can turn and it'll literally move the whole rear of the truck out of the way. It's just something that we've come to find as a norm within the crawler community. I don't think I run anything less than 500 ounces of torque on any of my crawlers, and I have a few that have 777s in them, and they're running crazy amounts of stuff. But with that means that you can run the risk of breaking stuff when you run super duper high stuff like that. So, you know, 42 kg servo on a crawler, we're just not seeing a lot of people in the same market as us in the crawler scene attempting to do something of that caliber, of that strength when it comes to the servo. There is someone else that's coming pretty close, but at this point we're pretty proud of this at the moment. All right, guys. So that's the Gen 9. What are some of the features? Can we put light kits on this thing?
Very much so. Yeah, there's going to be a light kit coming very soon that is specifically tailor-made for this vehicle. So it has the wires the right length for the distances between everything, including the lights in the dash, the rock lights, pretty much everything you could want.
Right.
Basically everything we have a light bucket available for.
And there's one thing that I don't know if you guys know. So I, on my page, I shared, on my Instagram, I shared as well as a Gen 8, Gen 9 page, a picture of my work in progress. I actually have a Gen 9 that I've already cut. The body, I don't use the bodies because I love hard bodies. It's got to be super scale. So I already hacked this thing completely to put a Jeep body. I know I'm that guy.
Super scale.
You're right. So yeah, I know, nerd. full dollhouse mode. Okay, guys. But I hacked it up completely so that I can use a different body on it, and I've been really enjoying it. And I forgot where. I was like, I forgot where I was going with that. But here's the thing that I got is these sliders are clutch. The body itself fit inside of these sliders, and it keeps them in place. The Gen 8 had these tubular ones that stuck out that always seemed to grab onto the rocks. These low profile ones are amazing. And not just that, after I trimmed my trays on the side to fit the width of the new body I'm using, I was actually able to reuse these on that body, and they work just as great on that as well.
Yeah, that was a huge learning actually. So a lot of people don't know the Gen 8 was actually my first RC product, and coming from the full size world, and like that was one of the things we were proud of. We're like, man, look at these tube bumpers. They're sick. They're like exactly the right scale, size, diameter that they would be in the real world. And then they hang up on everything.
They look like chromoly.
Like, but, I think these work really well. They are a good step in the right direction. They don't really hang up on anything. And
Well, okay, so
Yeah.
I'm going to jump into the other elephant in the room because there's a lot of guys out there like,
how
dude.
many elephants are in this room?
I account for at least 3 of myself. Okay, there's one thing that a lot of folks don't know yet and are anticipating because hey, dude, I just took advantage of your guys' sale. I just bought a Gen 8. You know what I'm saying? And I have 6 other Gen 8s. You know, like yeah, Gen 8's cool, but I just bought this one. Can I upgrade mine to a 2-speed?
That's a kit that's coming as well. The 2-speed kit. It's not just as simple as buying a Gen 9 transmission and dropping it in, because you actually have to have different running boards on the side. And I'll show that real quick, just so you can see what you have to change. If you have a Gen 8 and you want to look at this video and compare, there are, so because the tailstock of the transmission sticks out so much further, the battery box actually had to be significantly modified in order to clear that. And the side closeout panels here are new because they have mounting positions for the shift servo that actually actuates the 2-speed. Now, that side closeout panel can't be the one from the Gen 9 because it's too wide. The Gen 9 body is a little bit wider than the Gen 8 body was at this lower portion here. The contour of the side of the body is different. It's much flatter on the side. So this panel no longer, or the one from the Gen 8 doesn't fit, and this one would be sticking outside the body on the Gen 8. So we've made we've already got the samples of them. We've made a side panel kit that replaces this side panel with the servo mounting holes, and it comes with the battery box and of course the 2-speed.
Awesome. So it's coming.
It's coming.
Any potential for an ETA that you can share at this time?
You never know.
I try.
It'll be in the next couple of months. It won't be very long. It's we never know exactly how long shipping is going to take from China.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. David Martin, yes, there are stripes in the kit, the sticker kit for you to add on to break up the body as well. Now, there were some folks asking earlier, what aftermarket stuff are we going to have for it? Will we have stuff? Is anyone making stuff? Well, Shane, why don't you show them your
Let's get this one out.
pride.
So this is a, I guess this is the first technically prototype we had. So this one's a little beat up. It's gone down a mountain a lot.
This is actually the first modified Gen 9. The first modified one that exists.
There you go.
And you'll notice a nice big red underneath there in black. And what are those?
Those are all the new Trial upgrades. So it's got the axles, the knuckles, the outer portal boxes, pan hard mount. It's
Rear
got the
axle.
shock towers on it, the cross
this is a-
members.
Beast, man.
Oh, it's
How much
Does
heavier
this
is
thing
it?
got brass in it too?
that one just has brass outer portal covers.
That's it?
Yep.
Holy cow.
Well, he's also got aftermarket wheels on here that are.
I also
Oh, yeah,
have
yeah,
their Spec RC aftermarket wheels.
Dude, I'm digging that. So, Trio guys already, we were able to do something really fun. The engineers have been in contact with Trio before the launch of this product, and we've been sharing information with them in preparation for this drop. So, just so you know, right now there are about 13 to 15 products for the Gen 9 already available on the Trio website. And if you don't believe me, check them out. I got them right here in my hand as well. We got axles, we got lower link mounts for front and rear, we got portal housings for the rear, we got portal housings for the front, we got bumper mounts, we have the shock tower supports, even brake calipers and rotors. The list goes on. Shock towers. The stuff is already made for all of you guys to be able to do. Now, if you are a Trio fan or not, regardless, and you want to buy Trio, it is available now. And if you can get your orders in today, they should be able to ship before they close tomorrow for the next 30 days. Trio does celebrate Chinese New Year and will be closing their doors for 30 days. So if you want to get these things, you kind of have to jump on them now to get them in time before they close their doors for 30 days, which happens tomorrow. So you guys have till tomorrow, I believe, to make these orders. The link for Trio Hobby is located in the description of this video as well. So head on over there, check out the list of products that they have for the Gen 9. If anything fits your needs and or pocketbooks, man, make that decision, pull the trigger. These right here are actually going to end up going on my USTE build that will be taken to USTE, the Jeep that I'm working on, my scale truck and scale Jeep, I should say. And I went a little bit different. I went with 80 mil shocks in the rear, and I went with 90s in the front. I went ahead and cut way, I wouldn't say way too much, but if you look at it, it looked like my truck lost or got anorexic and just lost a lot of weight. It's really weird, but nonetheless, guys, the Gen 9 stuff is already available for it. Do we have any ideas or any plans for any other things from the Redcat camp that you know of?
We've got lots of plans.
I tried again.
There's lots of things. I mean, you guys should already be thinking about what your guesses are going to be for the next contest of guess the next thing that drops, because there's so many things dropping this year, and some people might guess. I don't think anybody's going to guess that.
Right. Tony Gutierrez, yes, they are vented tires or wheels, right?
Vented wheels.
Vented wheels. And then Ed Tom wants to know, will you be producing a roof cloth or top cage for the Gen, like the Gen 8 had?
Yeah, for like a bikini top or something like that. It's probably possible, but right now there wasn't a plan to do it. But that could be a thing. It just simply wasn't in the budget for this car. Like, we were pushing hard up against it with all the accessories we already added. But that is something we should definitely think about, potentially adding these accessories.
Someone wants to know, does a 2-speed kit work on a Wendigo? Well, Wendigo-go.
Wendigo-go.
Not directly.
It might.
Well,
I haven't tried.
So, to be continued.
You wouldn't want to, because the Wendigo's already brushless and it's hella fast.
Nice. See, I've been hanging out with Matt a lot, and he's adapting my Northern California ways. He just said hella.
Yes. I got that from South Park about 15 years ago.
Listen, let me win one here today, okay? I can't get you to leak anything else out, but listen, guys, I'm just ecstatic. I'm happy. I'm excited. These guys put in a lot of hard work and heart into this thing, and a lot of themselves into it. And I'm proud of you guys, man. You guys have really taken it up so many notches these last few years, and man, I'm just humbled to be a part of it and get to geek out with you guys every day. It's fun, man. It's absolutely fun.
Like I said, our office is a bit like Wonka's workshop if you're an RC geek, and you're the king RC geek.
Listen, I not only am I the RC geek, I'm also the what did he have? The Oompa Loompa. I'm also the Oompa Loompa of the office. Okay.
Yeah, I can see you coming in the office singing the song now.
Oompa Loompa, Oompa Dee Dee. If you have a Gen 9, I want it for me.
Very good.
All right, guys. Well, hey, guys. I think we pretty much covered just about everything we possibly could, and I hope that the information is robust enough for you guys to be able to go back and get some of your answers that you need moving forward, as well as if you just started watching and you're like, oh, what did I miss? Definitely go back to the beginning and watch this thing from the beginning. We're happy with it, man.
Well, Teddy's asking if we can do a YouTube tour through Redcat. Well, then we'd be giving away all the secrets.
Right. And,
we have to blur half the video.
Right.
Bleep every other word.
It's going to look like an episode of Cops. Just saying. But guys, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to share with you guys one last video, and this video will launch in a few weeks. But I shared with you the highlighted video, and this was just kind of an extra one that we just did on the back end. It was not an official video, but I had fun with it that day. Why? Because it was a day that we all tested the first production.
Oh, that day.
Gen 9.
Okay, I don't even know what we're getting into here. I can't wait to see this.
Guys, I'm going to leave you guys with this. I appreciate you guys. We all do here at Redcat. As mentioned earlier in the show, and if you caught information about my brother Brandon, again, the link for GoFundMe is in the description of this video. Forget coffee tomorrow. Maybe make a donation. It goes a long way. And we just are very humbled and excited for what the rest of the year is going to hold. We should have another drop coming pretty soon. I can't tell you the exact date, but I mean,
I
10,
can't either
10
because I don't know, but it's going to be soon.
right,
yeah.
10 drops in a year. I mean, we're going to be pretty busy. So, guys, you guys stay blessed. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go eat some tacos because I feel like I need some carb overloading right now.
Are you making the tacos or are we going out?
I'm lazy. We're going out.
Oh,
So
Oscar's tacos are the best, by the way.
Boom! You heard it first. You heard it first, right here.
Taco
Yeah.
Bell has nothing on Oscar.
All right, guys. Well, I'll leave you guys with this. You guys stay blessed. Keep the rubber side down, and we'll see you guys next week. Same time, same channel. Hopefully with some new goodies to share with you guys. Till then, you guys stay blessed. Shane, I don't care what you say. I'm not going there, bro.
Why not? Taco Bell's way better.
No, it's not, bro. Stop with this Taco Bell crap. I'm not going to... Oh, sorry. Peace.